Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Apex Racing TV's presentation of the AOR Formula Renault 2.0 Championship. Alex Simpson here, along with Sam Fitzpatrick for the second round of this season. And it is like a return to old stomping grounds for me today. Andrew Woodhouse was meant to be in the commentary box with me, but unfortunately he came down with the flu. So we had that, and then Adam Bath was going to be here as well, but he got stuck on a train. So we scrambled together. Sam has happily joined us. So that is a big shout out and thanks to Sam. Sam, yeah, you might not know this, but obviously me and Andrew, we used to be part of AOR way back in the day, like 7 years ago, on the PlayStation League. So yeah, it's quite a thing today for me to come back and do a commentary on one of their leagues.
Yeah, it's great to be here. Of course, a few different things had to happen for it to occur, but yeah, I'm really pleased to be here at Okayama, one of my more favoured circuits. Everyone around here is going to know this circuit like the back of their hand, and I don't know this car as well as you, Alex, but from what I know, I think this car should suit this circuit quite well, shouldn't it?
Yeah, I think it will. Right, we'll get the for some unknown reason the wrong overlay was coming up, but there we go. Sorted that one out. But yeah, the Okayama circuit, great little circuit. Should be a good race. I mean, it is quite short. Even in these Renaults, it's quite hard to get a bit of a sort of a slipstream down the straight, but it is definitely doable. So 29 degrees is the ambient temperature for those that wanted to know. Partly cloudy, very low amount of wind, so not very challenging conditions out there. I would say we're looking at with partly cloudy, it's probably still high 30s, low 40s, somewhere there in for the temperature, for the track temp. So give you guys a bit of an idea. Yeah, I can see a 43 degrees C in the temperature there, so perhaps that's it there. In the overlay as well, so thank you for that. We're just experimenting with a new overlay, which is kind of why it's a little bit up in the air with how we're running, and hopefully you'll all give us a little while just to get up to speed with the series as well. But looking forward to this. I know the Renault quite well, and yeah, looking at some of the drivers out there, Renault Osterkamp currently sits in your provisional pole position, and I know Mark Usher very well, done some academy classes in this car as well, so I know some of the guys out here, and this looks like a very competitive group, Sam, and I expect this race to be pretty close.
Yeah, looks super competitive. Right now the top 12 are separated by just a second, so yeah, it should be really interesting. I think the slipstream effect, but from what I've seen, at least in races around here, you do tend to get quite large packs of drivers because it is so difficult to overtake around here. So we should see some really close racing, and overtaking around here, I'm not sure if there's a harder circuit to overtake all of iRacing. So I expect, yeah, really good racing out there, and qualifying is going to be important. If you can get in the top 5, then you've got a good chance at a podium, but any lower than 10th and you're going to really struggle even in this feature race. But of course the reverse grid later on, the top 18 all get swapped around, so even if you do get a slightly slow start in this first race, you can certainly redeem yourself later on.
Yeah, it's quite a different concept. Normally everybody goes for the shorter race first, so sprint, and then followed by the feature. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that all pans out. But yeah, I mean, from history normally tells me that the first race is normally the cleaner of the two, and the second one with the reverse gets a bit scrappy. So that makes a bit of sense that one is the short one. So should be should be an interesting little concept, and we'll see how that pans out. So just waiting for some times to come up on our screen, and we'll get a rough idea. But I mean, I'm looking right now, 1 second covers the top 13 cars at the minute, Sam, so pretty close. Godin, who is a previous champion, I was otherwise informed recently, just coming across to finish his lap. He improves, gets within a quarter of a second of the pole position sitter and up and into third place. So the Canadian driver currently running as a privateer. doing a good job. Who else is out on a lap at the minute that we might want to keep an eye on? Scott Newton, looks like he's coming into the pits. Charlie Summers, where are you, Charlie? Charlie down the back straight, Team AOR Blue. Now, Sam, off the air, you told me you weren't a fan of the Renault, and that's okay. Not everybody has to like the car. What was it that you found just a little bit tricky?
Well, I must admit, I only gave this car a chance about a year back, and yeah, I just brought it, tried it for a couple of laps. Wasn't a massive fan. I prefer kind of the GT kind of cars, but yeah, it's a difficult car to drive. I think it was maybe it was just like the downforce levels I wasn't quite comfortable with. Didn't have a whole lot of single seater experience, so I think I struggled a little bit with that. But I think in terms of racing, I think this car is great, and these these drivers I think are going to produce some good racing.
No improvement for Charlie Summers. Trying to find somebody else that's out on the circuit right now.
Yeah, I'm struggling as well, actually.
Ty, yeah.
Just coming across the line as he just starts on the lap. No, he's just gone up. I think he's just gone up a couple of positions, so up into P17. Only 1.1 seconds off the fastest time up there. That's how close it is, and yet he's down in 17th place. But that's a good effort from Ty.
Yeah, cuts through the short circuit there, just to get just to get the lap over with quickly, so we might be able to get out for another one. But to be honest, with just 25 seconds left of the session, I don't think he's going to be able to get out and get around and have another one. Maybe he's got enough fuel in. No, he's not, because of course you'll get a penalty, won't you, for doing that? Nice try. Well, I think we are just about coming to the end. I think that was the last of the drivers to set a time. Sam, would you be so kind to try and take us through the grid, and I'll get the grid up on screen.
So in P1, René Osterkamp with a 23.6 second on the grid, Patrick Kessler, Jean-Francois Godin in third, Stefan Herman fourth, Mark Usher, Lubomir Moritz, Christian Takas, Scott Newton up in 8th place, Luke Barton in 9th, Jiri Mojak in 10th, followed by Josh Thompson, Charlie Summers, Enric Andre, Daniel J. Morris, Glenn Andre Key in 15th, Conor Ryan, Ty McLeod, who we just saw complete his lap, Alexei Sorokin in 18th position, followed by Erika Lindstrom, Sarah Dove, David Boutier, Alistair Hay, Tom Wittens, Marcel Miles, Sam Blackwood, Robert Plumley, Jordan Pierce, Adam State in P28, John Ringrose, Alec Hudson, and Bruno Domita, who did not set a quality time, but I think he is on the grid. No, he isn't quite, so it should be a field of 30 cars.
Yeah, so like I said, it's something we're learning, and apparently I've got to get the grid displayed up nice and early before they start to grid, or it resets all of the positions. So apologies for that, not being able to bring it up on the screen. We're just waiting for the final few drivers to come across. Just while we do that, just to have a quick look at the championship standings going into this race. And yeah, very, very close. Of course, we missed the first race. We're getting ourselves all set up, but we will be here for the remainder of the season. Right, Sam, who are we waiting for? There's a couple of grid spots still to...
I think they've now been filled, haven't they?
That's it.
Should be about ready.
Here we go then. No, there's one space right at the back. I can just see one space right at the back. But lights are coming on. We're getting ready here for the feature race of the AOR Formula Renault 2.0 Championship. And we're away. It's a good start from the front two rows. They're going to pretty much go into the first corner as they were. Always got to keep an eye out for accidents a bit further back. One of the leaders off, just about avoids the tyre barrier, slips themselves back. Who was that? That was our pole position man as well. Rene drops way back through the order. He's going to have a little bit of work to do now. It's going to make the race nice and exciting for us. Everybody else has managed to make it through turn 1. We are looking good. Patrick away at the front though. Rene having that mistake, and I think that Morich having a little look, coming out the back straight out of that hairpin's got that run. Usher, who's under, actually it's Usher having the look up the inside of the really tight hairpin, gets the move done as well into sector 3. Don't worry about the drivers, just taking a little bit of curb on the outside there. Perfectly normal. It's the fastest line, even though it does kick up a lot of dust. Everybody still trying to jostle for position at the moment through the final sector. It's so tight through here where we switch back.
Yeah, and Scott Newton down the inside of Morich, and Morich is just falling down the grid. He's just got on the outside line, it seems, and everyone's coming through, and he's... Oh, that's a spinner. Oh, it's a terrible start for... That's Osterkamp again. So first that turn 1 incident, and now once again it's side by side going into turn 2 for a lot of the cars, 3 wide in some places. But that's a terrible start for Osterkamp. He's got some ways to come now.
Well, that's the way it can go sometimes, you know. You get a great qualify, make one mistake in the opening laps, and all of a sudden, well, you're really struggling.
Yeah, it was bizarre that he made that first lap error, because he had a brilliant start off the line, seemed to be way ahead of the other drivers, and then just ran wide. Didn't quite see what happened, but yeah, really poor start for him.
Yeah, it's way down now in 23rd place. We'll keep an eye, see how that progresses. It's all changed as well at the front.
Oh, we got a
spinner.
Oh, that's a bit of a pile up as well. I think it was just 3 cars involved. It could have been a lot worse. But Chaisom's just got spun around, and in fact, actually 5 cars involved. I think a couple of spinners, and yeah, that not quite sure what happened there. But Chaisom's just seems to be tapped.
Yeah, and for those watching as well, the first time, not quite sure exactly what's going on. If you see the massive red on the left, oh, another couple of incidents as well. Few more cars are off. Everyone in that final sector towards the back. We've got people into the having to jump into the pits as well. And now our overlay catches up with what we were what we were doing. Kessler obviously just pulling away ever so slightly at the moment. You can see he's got just over 1 second margin at the moment from Godin. Usher there as well. Herman, Newton, Thompson, Morich, McLeod, Ryan. Key is your top 10. So yes, so the massive red that was popping up there while we saw the incidents, that was basically when somebody goes off or has an off track or something like that. We can see exactly what's going on and just identify those that are extending a corner here or there, or cutting a corner here or there. Stefan Herman, he seems like the one that's trying to put a bit of pressure on Usher right now.
Yeah, these front lot have got a long way clear. You consider how close they were in qualifying, but the top 8 already separated by 10 seconds. So this front lot have kind of got away cleanly, but everyone else has been caught up in incidents, and they're continuing to fight all the way down the field.
Still just watching this battle. Fastest lap of the race set in then, Kessler so far. Apologies as well. I just get a bit click happy on the overlay as well. I just had to reset it there. So again, sorry, still just learning exactly what's going on there, and yeah, that'll come. But that was why our leader disappeared for a second, because the overlay just needs to rebuild the order somewhat. So.
Osterkamp is trying to make his way through the field. I think he's just overtaken Charlie Summers. He may well have some damage, I think. So Osterkamp already up into P15. Those couple of incidents we saw in lap 2 he managed to avoid because he was so far behind the pack. So he's kind of got away damage-free, fortunately. And I would
there was a question asked whether Renault's wing was still intact, and as we can see, it absolutely is. Charlie Summers, who was also involved in something, hasn't been so fortunate and has front wing damage, and obviously that does slow the Renault down quite a little bit in straight line, so it's going to be really tough for Summers to make some moves. But yeah, Renault lucky there. It'd have been a nightmare for him if he'd have had some front wing damage after those opening laps to try and work his way through. Looks like the battle for third place is well and truly on as well. Well, actually, it's all changed. What's happened?
Yeah, Herman's got ahead of Herman.
Well, it's Gordon, hasn't he? He's dropped down. Do you have an issue? Just gonna look, see if I can see if he went off or something like that.
Oh yeah, he went off in the final corner. So I think he just ran a little bit wide. Yeah, he just got a little bit wide. Did well not to smash it into the wall, but had to put on the brakes and lost a couple of positions.
See if I can get that as a replay as well. We can just see him going off the circuit and recovering. But yeah, lost a couple of places there. Could have been a lot worse, I have to say. Got away with that one somewhat.
Bit of a Sebastian Vettel at Hungary, I think it was in 2014, where he just about missed the wall in a corner very similar to that. So yeah, he did well. He kind of got on the brakes early, saw the danger, and just thought best scenario would be just to not damage the car.
What else is going on out there? So we've got Zara Dove. I was having a little battle and through. Who was that just ahead as well that was going on? I think that was Connor Ryan. Was just getting himself past Key. And that's down in, well, I say down in, that's in 9th position. So just inside the top 10.
Yeah, those two started 16th and 15th, but they're up to 9th and 10th now. Other big movers, Ty McLeod, who we saw in qualifying, has gone from 17th to 8th. So he's just managed to drive around all the incidents and has really profited from that.
Lindstrom as well, trying to perhaps shape up a move here on Dove. Just couldn't quite get the run needed. And yeah, we'll keep an eye on this one though. This is probably the closest battle we've got on the circuit at the moment, 0.4 of a second.
Yeah, and Osterkamp just behind these guys. So we know Osterkamp is one of the fastest drivers out there. So he's going to be very kind of awkward in this situation. He's up into 14th as Osterkamp. So he should be yeah, right on the back of these two very soon.
It's always that little bit harder when you're trying to get a move done when everybody else has got slipstream in front. So we'll just jump and focus on Rennie for a moment, just see how he gets through that. Nothing's going on with the leaders. They're still about 1 second apart, all of them at the moment, even after Godden's issues that he's had. So Rennie, great line through turn 1, gets the car sweeping back. Just see that he just picks up slightly tighter exit through turn 2 using the slipstream. And actually, I have to say, Sorokin, I don't think he really defended that too heavily. He gave him plenty of room. And yeah, not willing to get involved with Rennie at this time, it would seem.
Yeah, Rennie so quick up to Lindstrom. Look at him, so deep on the brakes, just desperate. Well, maybe he's just looking every single corner. He's very aggressive. He knows how he's got to make these moves really quick to have any chance of getting maybe top 5 could be possible, but he's right on the tail now. He could go for the inside. He's just going to back out. He's going to have the outside for the next corner. Lindstrom just holding on to the inside, but can he get the cut back now? He needs to get a lot of traction on the exit. He's just going to have to wait, but he should quite easily get it down into turn 1, I think.
Lindstrom was nice there, I have to say. He didn't need to give quite so much room in that first of the corners, in that final sector. But it's Osterkamp's that looking at his wing that's coming that would be at risk. But now he makes that move into turn one, runs a little bit wide. Lindstrom maybe having an opportunity to fight back here. We'll get a good run down towards the hairpin. It's whether or not he's going to decide to do anything with it. Wait and see. All of a sudden, coming from behind as well, though. You've got Sorokin up the inside. He made full advantage of that, didn't he? Straight through. Perfectly timed, and that was why it was sensible just a lap ago, just to not get too involved with Rennie. Got this place. He's going to have to defend the inside now, though. Late on the brakes for both drivers, but picked up the apex beautifully. Alexei through. Very difficult to try and get any kind of move through this section of the circuit. Kind of hope people make a little mistake just to get a good run.
Yeah, that was a really good opportunistic move there from Sorokin, because it's so difficult to overtake onto, especially when you're in a train and cars. He had to make that move, and he's straight through and pulling a little bit away from Lindstrom now. Osterkamp now within 0.3 of Sardub, so he's going to be right on the tail now. Going into turn one, will he be brave enough on the brakes? We saw him brave last time. He's just going to stick in behind, maybe just lining it up for maybe turn two. He's on the outside. This is going to be awkward, and in the inside just gives him the move. So I think that was a good decision there from Sarah. But she has lost a bit of momentum now, and yeah, Alexei Sorokin is going to be trying to gain another position.
Yeah, and he seems to be using running quite well to do this. So just see, get a run. And actually, I think got that extra bit of draft. It's going to be a bold move to do it from here, though. Not even alongside. Very late on the brakes to make it, and actually, Sarah nails the apex of the hairpin. Just needs to carry on going about business like before. Was able to keep these guys behind. Any change up front? What do we got? It's getting a little bit closer, perhaps, at the moment, Sam. Usher.
Yeah.
Now,
Usher, 0.8 clear of Herman. So it's I think it's right now. It's about a tenth here, a tenth there. Maybe they're just happy right now to follow one another. I assume there's going to be a pit stop, isn't there? So maybe they can save a little bit of fuel out there. I'm not quite sure about this car, I must say, but yeah, right now they're quite content just following each other, about a second between them.
Yeah, honestly, it's a good question about the pit stop. Obviously, it's all new to me as well. So I would assume there will be. Although I think, you know, the Brimit, maybe they might just be able to make it. They actually have fairly sizable tanks, but we will find out. Check the rulings as well, see if there's any restrictions on fuel levels and when they might be coming in. I hope there is one, because I think it'll throw a nice little curveball in there, bit of strategy, see what the guys can do. Anyone's going to go for an undercut, maybe try and use the fresh tyres, although I have to say the tyres on the Renault, they do last pretty well. You can almost get quicker as the run goes on, so just as the fuel gets a little bit lower. So I think even if there are some pit stops due, some drivers might decide to leave them on. Although, to be fair, in the amount of time that it takes to fill the car up, you'll get the tyres changed anyway.
Yeah, this circuit's going to be quite low on fuel usage anyway, isn't it? Because it's a lot of kind of slow speed corners, not a whole lot of. It's a bit stop-starty, but you know it's not a whole lot of time for throttle. Alexei Sorokin, who we saw a couple of laps ago, he's just managed to get past Sarah Dove into P12 now. So he looks quick, does Sorokin, actually. I think he's going to be able to fight for the top 10 potentially. Osterkamp is now within a second of Glenn Andre Key.
A line out there as well. He just set a purple sector 1, followed by a personal best sector 2 and sector 3. He missed the fastest lap of the race by 3/300ths of a second.
Oh,
so
and Thompson and
he's on
Newton side by side going into the hairpin here. Newton going to defend. Thompson going to have to go all the way around the outside. He could make this work because he'll have the inside for the next corner. Not quite, no, he's going to still try. It nearly gets his nose cut off. Had to lock up to avoid contact. But Newton there just wasn't going to give him space there, just got to the apex. And Thompson still looking really threatening though, and these two pretty much on their own. Newton 3 seconds behind the guys ahead, and they're 6 seconds clear of Mojack just behind.
Yeah, Thompson up 5 places in this one for Radicals. Talking to Scott offline, and I know Josh has been doing a bit of this, a bit of that, and a bit of the other as far as leagues go at the moment. So I'm used to seeing Josh at the front of these Renault fields, so perhaps just not quite where he wants to be at the moment. But I dare say after a 40-minute race, he's going to be absolutely back on it. We may see him challenging up the front, looking at the lap times the last time by as well. Both these drivers were lapping just a little bit slower than the leading sort of quartet, but not a great deal.
No, they said that since the start, that gap's kind of stayed relatively similar, and he's going to be in range here as Thompson, but the braking distance in these cars is quite small. He's still going to go for it down the inside, but I think Newton's just going to hold it down the outside here. Got the inside for the next corner, but he's going to be really under attack into these next couple of hairpins. Really good run there, but wide, and Thompson's still going to have a chance. He's not going to try the dive bomb, but that was a really good effort into the hairpin. I thought he was going to be way too far back. There was a bit of a Daniel Ricciardo move, I guess, and yeah, had a good go, but Newton did well, just left a little bit of space, knew he'd have the inside from the next corner, and kept the position.
One thing I know about Josh, he's not afraid of a move and being late on the brakes. It's not always the quickest when you're out there on your own, but in trying to get past, it is quite useful. Like I say, the top 4 drivers all within 1/10 of a second on the lap there. These two fighting, slipping back into the grass for 7th place now as well. Cloud behind him also closing in. Osterkamp up to 9th. We've missed that he's got past Key and Ryan, but yeah, still out there flying away. I think at this rate we could see him back in and around, maybe fighting with these guys for sort of 5th place if it continues.
Enric Andre has had an issue. He's just crashed. Not sure what position he was. I think he was quite far down, was Enric, but he's just had a crash midway around the circuit just after the hairpin, and he's had to come back to the pits, and I think that's pretty much his day over.
Yeah, let's see if we can see what happened there. Just getting the aftermath of it, unfortunately, on the replay. Talk us through that one, Sam. What actually happened, sorry?
He just ran wide the 90-degree corner after the first tight hairpin after the back straight. Just ran a little bit wide onto kind of that shortcut kind of road, and just lost the rear end and spun into the inside wall. So yeah, that seemed like terminal damage. He was quite unlucky the way he hit the wall, but yeah, it doesn't seem like that car's going to go anywhere anytime soon.
Oh, who was that spinning? That's around...
Oh, and there's another car involved as well.
Yeah, for the Team AOR purple car.
Miles has was involved in that.
Dropped himself all the way down to 14th of that. It's going to be 15th as well.
Oh, Miles loses it just ahead. Oh, that's really unlucky for Mojack. He did well to avoid contact, but Miles just spun ahead of him, and Mojack had pretty much nowhere to go.
Oh yeah, just seeing there on replay, just like you say, nothing he could do. Unfortunate.
Yeah, it was actually the contact that spun him round, so yeah, really unfortunate for Mojack. And like you said, he's down into P14, but we've seen Osterkamp, now up to B7 is Osterkamp. Then he's just got past Conor Ryan, or he got past Conor Ryan a couple of laps ago. and yeah, up into P7. So some recovery drive, he's got 8 seconds to make up on Thompson and Newton. But of course, we've seen them fight so much, he will fancy his chances of catching up. He's only 20 seconds off the lead, and if you consider he's been off the track, he's had to pass probably a dozen cars, he's had a spin, and just shows how quick he really is.
Got the replay here as well as how Thompson got past. Or was this was a recap from earlier on, wasn't it? He has made his way past.
Yeah, I didn't see that one. Oh, he's having to defend again though, down into the hairpin. Newton trying to go around the outside, but he's not going to quite make it.
Yeah, I think these two are going to be pretty much nip and tuck them for the whole rest of the race. Kessler looking very comfortable, 3.3 seconds. Just watching the rest of the guys battle behind them. So we can see Osterkamp up to 7th place now as well. He's only 3 seconds behind these guys, and if they just carry on battling like they have been the last 3 or 4 laps, he's going to be on them in no time whatsoever. Lapping comfortably faster. There he is in the background, just coming onto the main straight.
Yeah, and I wonder if particularly Newton, now that he can see Osterkamp in his relative box, he may just be thinking, I may as well just try to get P6 here and then try late on to make the move on Thompson, because they don't want to have a fight with Osterkamp whatsoever. They've now dropped 6 seconds behind Godin, so that fight has cost them probably about 3 seconds because they were relatively close. And Newton closing. We saw Thompson have a go from this range, but he's just willing to stay behind at the moment. I think he may have just seen Osterkamp behind him and thinks we should stop fighting for a few laps and just make sure that gap doesn't get too much smaller anytime soon.
Yeah, I mean 4 tenths is what they lost the last time by. If we let me see if I can bring up the last lap times. You can see 25.0 for both Thompson and Newton, but 24.6 for Osterkamp as well, and Scott getting a little off track there as well. I have to say, because of his Australian netcode as well, the overlay does pick up on a lot more, but it gets it bang on the money there, as you can see both drivers quite clearly off the circuit.
Yeah, making their own check out there. I remember you may have been, I guess you were taking part of 2016 World Championship Grand Prix series around here, and that was pretty much just a sand pit at that final corner by the end of the race. That was just after the new gravel model had been released, and it was a bit extreme back then.
Oh,
so
I do remember that.
Yeah, and then I don't know if it affected the grip of the cars at all, but it was absolutely it was as if the gravel track just extended onto the circuit.
A few drivers thinking about making their way into the pits as well, and first one up was Ty as well, so decided it was time to get out of the little pack that he was in. Keep an eye on our leader. He's coming up on some traffic. Well, he's got some time to think behind him. Doesn't come in this time. Of course, those that don't know the circuit very well, you have to come in before the sort of penultimate corner. Gets himself past the back marker using the slipstream to do it.
Yeah, he wanted every tenth he could get there, didn't he? And that was Tom Whitten's. Yeah, like I said, Tom Whitten's. He just got past. And I think Whitten's did kind of a good job there, just gave him plenty of room on the inside down into turn 1.
So the battle for 8th then between Ryan and Keat. Still about 7 tenths of a second. Obviously Keat racing for Positive Sim Racing. And yeah, no matter where you look, those guys have got drivers in a series. You can see him in there. Plumley into the pits as well. We can see that on the overlay.
So it certainly does seem like fuel's going to be necessary unless these drivers are really heavily fuel saving, but you doubt any of the front runners are because they have been so quick. But super short stops, 4 seconds. So
Yeah.
I don't know how much fuel you can get in 4 seconds, but I can't imagine it's much more than kind of 6 or 7 liters.
Let's say it's going to be enough. So Ty was the quickest pit stop so far. Total pit time was 34.63 seconds. So that's from sort of pit lane entry to exit. Rob Plumley was 34.98. You've got Morich and then Summers. They're sort of both in the 40s, so quite a bit slower. So I don't know if that's a slightly different tactic or something that's going on there. Maybe maybe we'll keep an eye on the leaders, see when they jump in. We'll have to see if the cars are jacked up. It'd be nice to know exactly what's going on here, but I always like to figure it out. Usher as well, pulling away in second now. He's got 1.5 seconds over Herman, so I'm just not been able to keep with. And I think that might have been to do with some traffic, was it? Not really sure. Perhaps just not getting through the traffic quite as quick.
Well, he did just overtake Tom Whitton's, but I think that was on this lap, so... just had a bit of a pull up there, didn't he? He lost 3.5 tenths to Godin, just behind, so maybe it was traffic, but yeah, he needs to really keep this intensity up. Like, one error in this race is going to cost you so bad. Whitton's nearly spins it, Herman's really got to keep this intensity up.
New fastest lap for Osterkamp as well, 24.2. So absolutely, still nailing it. Like I said, the drivers just get a little bit quicker as you go on here, so the fuel levels come down. Thompson into the pit lane. Let's see what he does. Let's focus on him.
Just saw Adam state he just took tyres, so not sure if that's a... his pit stop was 11 seconds, and he was on the jacks for a little bit, but I don't know how many tyres he took. So maybe it is a strategy used by a few of these drivers. I doubt the front runners.
No tyres. No tyres for Thompson. That is straightforward. Just dump the fuel in and go. Car was not jacked up at all there, unless we're not seeing that. But quite a quick stop for Thompson. 36.78 total time in the pit lane there. So yeah, that's obviously the difference. Those that are taking tyres, it's an extra, it's about an extra 10 seconds. So quite a lot of time to lose. And I don't feel, like I say, the tyres just last in this car. So I feel like you're going to gain that back by staying out there. And just had it confirmed on chat as well. Tyres are not necessary, pretty much like we thought.
Yeah, and with overtakes being so difficult around here, it's difficult to make your way back up through the field. So yeah, tyres certainly not necessary. Maybe when we go to a different circuit in the championship, maybe, I don't know, like a Suzuka or something where tyre wear.
No, like from all of my experience, I would say no. Like I've done the races, sort of half-hour races and stuff, and it's never been an issue. Absolutely, the car just gets faster and faster and faster. We've got a spinner, someone going into the pit lane. Don't know who that was. Maybe that's just somebody locking up. Actually, I don't see a car around. Just a whole load of tyre smoke.
Oh, Newton's in. And Newton's away, so he was fighting really hard, wasn't he, with Thompson? Where is Thompson? Thompson is behind, so Newton's got ahead. Newton exactly the same pit stop, but he's managed to pull out some, I think that's about 2 seconds, I think Newton's got. So that was a couple of really big laps there from Scott, and he's really boosted his chances of top 5.
It's all in the pit lane, to be fair. 33.63 seconds in the pit lane against 36.78. So there's your 3 seconds right there.
Yeah, Scott's come out in a bit of traffic though. He's just behind Sarah Dove, and he's going to have to quickly make that move, or hope Dove makes a pit stop, but on this lap. But these two still fighting Osterkamp, who's still out there. Usher's just closed the gap a tiny bit, down to 3 seconds to Kessler. I'm not sure if it's going to really matter, but yeah, he's trying absolutely everything as Usher, just to give himself any any kind of chance to win this race.
I think it's more about it's more traffic now as well for Patrick. He's always the first car, isn't he, to the traffic, and everybody's sort of like, oh, here come the leaders, you know, and you let them go through. So I think that's kind of what's going on there. So I'm sure everybody's got that heads up for him, and he can slip through a little bit easier. But yeah, still doing a great job.
Oh, there's a spin, Newton and Dove. I said Newton might struggle to get past, and he's gone into Dove. I think Dove. Oh, it's another.
Oh, and afterwards as well.
And the net code as well. Oh, so lucky for Scott. Oh, they had a. Yeah, so yeah, you pointed it out, the secondary collision.
Oh, God. Oh, it looks absolutely calamitous, doesn't it? On the screen, they're like, no. So, but yeah, from my screen, there wasn't actually any netcode. There was physical contact between the two. You know, when after the spin there, so gutted for Scott. But yeah, these things happen. You've got to be wary of people like that. You know, of people spinning and things like that when you coming up, and that's the issue that you can have when you box early. You know, you're going to come out in traffic. And talking of boxing, Mark Usher is in, as well as Rene Osterkamp as well. Both these drivers are in. So good, clean stop for Mark. See what the total timings of that was. 34.47. So one of the quicker ones. And Osterkamp, where's he going to?
Oh, is he going to be ahead of Thompson?
Come out.
Oh, it's going to be close. Thompson's just ahead. Oh, but that's really close. Thompson really lost quite a bit of time in pit road, didn't he? Because Osterkamp was about 7 seconds behind, but now he's within half a second. So, yeah, going to be really tight between these two with just about 6 or 7 minutes to go.
Track looks pretty messy now as well, you know, as far as there's cars just absolutely everywhere. So I think the leaders are going to be constantly dealing with traffic now for the rest of the race. No sort of let up. Got worth pointing out as well that it says we're 34 minutes in, but I think there's actually a little bit more time than that as well, just because as soon as they start to grid, our clock counter starts. So quite there yet. Oh, as Rene gets all kinds of out of shape as he gets kind of hooked on the exit curb there. Leaders are in as well. Top three all came in. Kessler is away. Going to come out. Where is Mark? Here he comes down the straight. Might be a fraction closer.
Nah, I think it's about the same.
No, yeah, you're right, about the same. And they were almost identical in the pits as well.
Key's right on the... No, so Key hasn't pitted yet, has he? No, so...
Nope. No, not yet.
He was right on the back of Godin. I thought that may have been a battle, but not quite.
Yeah, Key, Hudson and Summers all yet to pit. But yeah, make hay while you can. Of course, maybe that just needs a splash of fuel to get to the end as Key. He lifted absolutely miles before the hairpin there. I wonder if he's trying to make this on a solitary tank of fuel.
Osterkamp's going for the move on Thompson. He's round the outside. He's on the grass. Oh, Thompson tried to really shove him out there, and well, I think that was just about within the rules. But Osterkamp really on his tail. Sorry.
Yeah, not happy with that is Rene, but yeah, well, one thing, Rene, you'll have to learn if you don't know, but already is yeah, Josh will race hard always, you know, and yeah, if you're going to try and go around the X outside, expect to be nursed off somewhat. And yep, Josh is a real racer and drives towards the real racing rules, and you know, it's not sim rules for him out there where you always have to leave the gap. No, sorry.
Key's just come in. McLeod's going to get past Ryan. Is he going to get past? No, Key's going to stay ahead of Ryan. So I think that's worked out well for Key, actually.
Well, I think so, yeah. He's up 7 places in total is Key, while we're still watching this battle go on. Radical's car didn't get the run that he wanted out of the hairpin. He's going to have to go very defensive. We've got a back marker coming into play as well for these two. Round the outside then for René. It's not going to be easy. Josh, one of the latest drivers on the brakes, and you can see quite comfortably holds on to that position. And this is always going to be René's problem. Once he got towards the front, he was going to come up against a lot more severe competition. And yeah, Josh showing really what he's made of out there as he locks up. Just about makes the apex though. Doesn't want to do that too much. Will feel like if René gets one little opening, he'll dive straight for that.
Yeah, and Herman just ahead. I think he had a bad lap. I think Herman may have spun and lost about 8 seconds on one of the laps. So if Osterkamp can get past right now, he can get Herman potentially.
Yeah, 2.7 seconds up the road he is, so I don't know, he's still going to have to go something because Herman's still lapping in the 24s very consistently. So I think it's going to be too much to ask. Once again, René gets a good run. Thompson kind of opened the door, unusual, and he's going to have to fight straight back here. René going to have to defend hard because I tell you what, Thompson will throw it straight back up the inside. Going to glue the car to the inside. Thompson no choice but to try and go around the outside. Will he get the overlap? We saw him try this with Newton earlier on. Still there, can't quite do it. And René just gets a little bit out of shape coming out of that hairpin, but manages to hold on to it. It's a good move from him. And yeah, Josh will be kicking himself in that car for just allowing that door to open up. It's not over and done with yet. Still fighting, looking one way and then the next. Still no opportunity to get past. The trouble is, once you get into a position where you're constantly defending, you can no longer sort of do your lines. You can't pull away. This is what René's going to struggle with. Josh knows he just needs to keep him on his toes, keep him looking into the mirror, keep him defending. Gets a good exit out of the final corner. That might be the breathing space he needs just to try and pull away now.
Yeah, he's not going to catch up to Herman, is he? But that Osterkamp was not going to give him any room whatsoever after earlier on, and you could see from a mile off he was just going to run him out of road if he
too right
chance.
And, yeah, touche. That's what he's thinking in that car, you know.
But yeah, 0.6 now, so he should be clear. And Usher just closing in a base down to 2.5, but it's not going to be enough. To be fair to Mark, he's been brilliant through the traffic and he's really given it a good go in the second half of the race. But Kessler's just had it under control from the start.
Yeah, I mean, he jumped away, didn't he, quite early, got a nice little gap, and that's really what's been Mark's undoing, and took a few laps to get past, it was Godin, wasn't he, who made the mistake, and yeah, after that he's been able to catch back up a little bit, but yeah, just not enough. I kept him honest. He's in that range. If there's a mistake or something for Kessler right now, it will get him. That's the thing. So Kessler can't let up at this point. I'd say that our timer is off when they start to grid, so we're not quite there yet. We'll see the white flag soon.
Yeah, it should be 40 minutes plus 2, I guess, because that's the gridding time. So I think we'll get this lap and then one more lap, I think.
Unfortunately, because we have to reset it as well. It has got a little function in there where it recognises it, but because we have to reset it halfway through, it does take you from the session time. What else is going on out there? I have to say, it's died down quite somewhat further back as well. Key and Ryan, that battle, they're separated by 1.8 seconds now. Lindstrom, Sorokin, they've got a good 2 seconds between them. Newton closing back in on David ahead, but still 3 seconds away, so really is nothing going on. Osterkamp and Thompson's is still the closest on the track. but we know that gap is only getting bigger at this point. Josh driving hard, too hard there. You can hear him scrubbing the tyres, pushing a little bit wide. Tyres will start to give up a little bit at this point. But I say that, look at the lap times that the guys are doing out there. There's no issues whatsoever out there, just as quick as they were earlier on. Very nearly fastest laps of the race. Once again. Great drive from the Swiss driver though. Looked strong, didn't look back, did he? Once he got the lead in that first lap, the mistake from Renault really cost him.
Yeah, and like I said earlier, it was odd because Renault got a really good start, was ahead going through turn 1. I didn't actually see what happened to him, and yeah, he just seemed to run wide for some sort of reason. So Usher down to 1.5. If only he had a couple more laps, but I think Kessler's just cruising around. Is this the last lap?
I haven't seen the white flag yet, but I think we might see a checker. Let's just wait and see as it comes across the line. Here it comes, checkered flag is waiting for him. It is the final lap of the race. Patrick Kessler weaves with celebration. Great victory. Unchallenged really. Usher second, Gordon comes across in third. Herman, he's going to take fourth. Good drive from him. Osterkamp, what a fantastic recovery. Top 5 finish after what happened in the first couple of laps. Truly fantastic. Josh Thompson pushed him hard to keep him outside that top 5, but it wasn't meant to be. Josh finishes in 6th. Here comes Ty. And then we've got Key and Ryan coming across as well. Followed by Sorokin. Lindstrom behind him. They're on close, but they just all lost contact a little bit as well.
Yeah, a little shout out to Ty McLeod. Started P17, finished 7th. Pretty much avoided all incidents. Again, Josh Thompson, he was up in 5th place at one point. He started 11th. So yeah, again, a couple of drivers out there just managed to get through all the incidents around them and did a really good job.
Yeah, just keeping an eye on who else comes across as well. Charlie Summers, he had his problems as well. Got new front wing in that race, back to 16th. Alec Hudson, didn't see too much of him. That's it, everyone pretty much through. Just got lap drivers now. And of course, anyone who's 2 laps down out of the top 18, of course, won't be reversed. So that needs to be, we need to be mindful of that. Right, Sam, if give me 1 second and I will try and get the points and the results sorted out.
So the top 18 were all on the same lap. So I think we're going to just have a direct grid change, which means Alistair Hay and Alec Hudson will be on pole for the on the front row for the second race. And Scott Newton, who we saw had all those problems, he will be starting, I think, in P6. So he'll be one to watch, certainly, because we know how quick he is.
Right, take us through the final results, if you would, please, sir.
Yes, so Patrick Kessler with that great drive out there, 1.2 seconds clear of Mark Usher in second. Jean-Francois Godin did really under the radar in that race. Him and Stefan Herman just did a really good job to finish in third and fourth. René Osterkamp with that brilliant drive back through the field in fifth. We saw Josh Thompson very aggressive out there in sixth. Ty McLeod 17th to 7th in the end. Glenn Andre Key also 15th to 8th, and Connor Ryan in 9th from 16th on the grid. Sorokin 10th from 18th on the grid. Lindstrom in 11th. Butler in 12th. We didn't see much of him. Scott Newton had that spin late on with Sarah and finished in P13. Robert Plumley in 14th. Sarah Dove in 15th, Charlie Summers in 16th, Alec Hudson in 17th, and Alistair Hay, who will be pole position for the second race, in 18th. Then the cars a lap down. Lubomir Marchi had a few issues out there in 19th, Christian Takacs in 20th, Tom Whitton's 21st, Sam Blackwood 22nd, Adam State 23rd, Jiri Mojak, he had a few issues as well, in 24th, Enric Andre in 25th, Marcel Miles 26th, Joseph Ringrose 27th, Luke Bartson 28th, Daniel J. Morris 29th, and Jordan Pierce rounding out your field.
Very much for that. Yeah, a couple of little bugs that I think we've got to work out, so apologies for that. The results just didn't quite show as they should, so we'll try and sort that out for next week's round. It's currently under development as well, so don't really find these things until we use them. But so we're going to head for a bit of a short break. We'll be back when obviously they get the next session up and ready, and then we're going to have a 25-minute sprint race. The reverse grid should be really interesting, very tasty, as we see the drivers trying to work their way back up through the field. Chance for Osterkamp to redeem himself. He's had all the practice with getting the moves done, while the likes of Kester and co haven't. So it's going to be very interesting to see how that race pans out. That's for sure. But stick around. We'll be back in about 10 minutes' time once the session's up, and we'll take you through to the end of the next race. See you soon.
here of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Would it be Tim Hogan? It's going to be Christopher Demerit at the line. about to get photo finish here of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Will it be Tim Hogan? It's going to be Christopher Demerit at the line. Would it be Tim Hogan? It's going to be Christopher DeMary at the line.
Welcome back to Apex Racing TV's presentation of the Apex Online Racing Formula Renault 2.0 Championship. Sam Fitzpatrick is back with me for the sprint race here at Okayama. Looking forward to this one. What do we have in store for us, Sam?
Well, with this reverse grid, I think it's Alistair Hay on pole position, and he finished P18 in that last race. So should be interesting to see the top drivers make their way through, because there was a bit of a difference between kind of the top 5 or 6 drivers and kind of everyone else. So it'll be really interesting to see how they make their way through the field. Of course, not a particularly easy track to overtake round, but of course a couple of drivers out there really defied us in that last race. But Rene Osterkamp, with his issues on lap 1, managed to have a good, brilliant drive through the field to finish 5th. So it is possible, but yeah, should be interesting to see how these top runners get their way through the traffic.
Now, I am just having a bit of an issue. Tried to update the overlay in the brake, and apparently it's doesn't want to know. Let me just get the old one running, and should be back online. So apologies for that.
Alistair Hay is on pole position, followed by Alec Hudson in 2nd, Charlie Summers 3rd, Sarah Dave in 4th, Robert Plumley in 5th, Scott Newton 6th, David Butelaar, Urka Lindstrom, Alexei Sorokin, Conor Ryan, Glenn Andre Key, Ty McLeod, Josh Thompson, Rene Osterkamp, Stefan Herman, Jean-Francois Godin, Mark Usher, and your race 1 winner Patrick Kessler. Then it's Moritz Takacs, Whitton's Blackwood, State Mojak, Andre Miles, and now green flag.
Thanks, Sammy just nicked that in right in the time there. Good start by everybody though. So screen towards turn 1. Once again, I think we've got a pretty decent start out there. No issues that I can see. Always tricky through turn 1, turn 2 as they head towards the hairpin for the first time as well. You can see the snake of cars on the map as they head down or towards the first of the hairpins here at Okayama. Probably one of the most exciting corners, actually. You can really throw it in there, use the camber, drive it off the corner hard as the corner opens out. And we're away, everyone, trying to find some sort of position, try and pick up some places as they head in towards the hairpin for the first time. Tightest corner pretty much on iRacing.
Yeah, Hudson's got the lead. He just managed to make the move into the hairpin. So he's out into the lead now. Followed by Hay and Summers. No, sorry, it's Summers in the lead. I apologise. Summers is in the lead. I think that was just a spin in the background, actually. But yeah, pretty clean.
Yeah, nice clean start. That's what we want for these reverse grids as well, because the leaders are all going to have to drive their way through now as well. The quick guys coming through. It's not going to be straightforward for them at all. The pack just starts to flow through. 1:30.77 opening lap from standing start. Not too bad from Charlie there. Already started to build a little bit of a lead. Gaps up to 1 second as well. Hey, really going to have to step on it, I think, here.
Christian Takacs just went onto the gravel. I think he was already quite far down the grid, but he's just lost about 10 seconds there. I think just going off the track.
Pretty tasty, in and around about 7th place. Lindstrom right in the middle of that as well. Rob Plumley there as well. Alec Hudson just in front of them. You've got Sorokin behind. Thompson right behind as well, trying to get some move. He's almost side by side with Sorokin. Gonna go and pick up that place as well. Much better line through the hairpin. Oh, and they're all sort of checking up through the two fast left-handers. Oh, that's serious net code there as well for whoever that was. That was Rob Plumley involved in that. There was miles between them there. That's real unfortunate for Rob. Didn't deserve that at all, but I don't think it was really Josh's fault. I could see almost a car's width between them. Internet racing for you.
Josh Thompson just about holding off Lindstrom, but Lindstrom's going to try to go around the outside into turn 1. It is possible because you get inside the turn 2. Not quite. He's got to be so careful from the cars behind. But he's right on the tail still. This train of cars, all 5 of them, and there's going to be a couple more involved soon as well.
Yeah, they're all battling behind. And that's what Josh needs. He's got front wing damage, so he's a little bit vulnerable down the straight. But while they're all battling behind, look at them all just locking up and everything as well. We need to focus more on there because all of a sudden, those guys are really having at it. Osterkamp, of course, will want to get this victory as well to make up for what was terrible first couple of laps, but they're 3 wide going to the hairpin. He's on the outside. It's the last place you want to be. Usher gets himself up and past. Thank you very much, he says. Great move from him. Rene also through now as well. It's Lindstrom dropping back. He's down into a 9th place, net one place loss. And they are side by side behind as well. I think this is Godden and Barton. It might have been Ryan, sorry. I think it was Ryan that Godden was side by side with. So Connor Ryan in the Radicals Online car there. Don't often see that sort of light shade Radicals car. Looks quite nice. Rob's joined us as well for the show. There you go. Perfect timing. Alistair Hay getting ever closer to Summers. No, he's not. Sorry, he's coming under every amount of pressure from Dove behind. Summers 3 seconds clear now as well. We saw this happen exactly the same in the last race for Kessler, and he was able to walk away with it. Just a short 25-minute race here, of course.
And Dove's going to try and go around the outside here. It's going to be a risky move. Newton and Dove actually came together in the last race, remember. Dove can't quite make the move on Hay, and Newton's going to try to find a way through. He's on the outside, but he's going to get run out of room. A little bit of space given there from Dove. And Newton's just going to have to stay in behind, but Dove's all the way off the track. And that's easy for Newton in the end. Just put enough pressure on him. Just behind them, side by side, I think. Not quite sure who that was. I think that
Usher.
Yeah, Usher and Osterkamp was that.
Still going at
side. Oh, big lockup.
That was so close. I think that was Alec Hudson just ahead of them there as well. Hudson was happy that he scored points in the last race. And yeah, he almost got absolutely rogered there as well. As Usher was looking far more what Osterkamp was doing just then.
I'm down the inside now. That's Usher going through, and Osterkamp's got to follow him through now. And just falling down. Oh no, he's going to try to fight back here. That was a really good defensive move there from Alec, but I think Osterkamp's going to have him anyway.
Yeah, I think you're right, and actually Lindstrom might even have the run here as well. He does. All that hard defending comes undone, although could get a good run here depending on what goes on. might get the slipstream of the 2 cars ahead. And just you've got Key and Ty as well. Newton's just got himself up and into 2nd place too.
Yeah, really good move from Newton, managed to get round the outside at the hairpin.
See if I can.
Oh, Luke Barton's had a spin. Sorry, yeah, Luke Barton's. Oh, he was all by himself as well. Luke Barton was running in P15, but he's fallen down to P25 now. Oh, really unlucky there.
Just trying to see if I could get you the overtake from Newton. Here we go. Helps if you click the right button, Alex. Got a great drive out of the onto the back straight, around the outside. It looked like Hay tried to defend it. There was a bit more room on the outside just to, so he didn't have quite such a tight line through there. Actually, a great overtake from Newton around the outside. Not easy to do. Gets a little squirrely coming over the curbs there. But yeah, sorry, Sam. Back to you.
Yeah, just looking at Kessler up into P12, he started in 18th, so he hasn't made terrific progress, but I think he's going for a move that could be 3 wide down into the hairpin, but he's just going to back out side by side, pretty much 2 by 2 by 2, all the way down into the hairpin. Kessler's still going to try the overtake, but he's not quite got the room. He's got to be so careful because you just don't want to lose your front wing, but 25 minutes isn't a lot of time to make up positions. And I think that's McLeod going down the inside of Key. Still side by side between those two. And McLeod, I think, is just going to hold it onto it going into the penultimate corner.
Yeah, good move. And up 3 spots now for Ty McLeod. Fastest lap of the race for Summers as well. That's just been beaten by Osterkamp though, 1:24.328. He's out there flying, and we're on board with Ty as all of a sudden there's a wildly Erika Lindström up the inside to take that position back. Thank you very much, he says. Great battle. This is all for 8th place at the moment. Hudson just out of the fight once again. Ty trying to go around the outside. Will he get this move done and complete? Oh, so wide through there, but of course he'll carry the extra speed and momentum around the outside.
Oh, 3 wide.
Here we go, 3 wide. Patrick Kessler once involved in this. Thank you very much. He says that is P number 10 for him. Oh, I didn't just do that. P10.
Yeah, he does. Oh, that's nearly a spinner. Oh my goodness. That was it Conor Ryan there? So nearly lost the car. Key and Moritz just side by side, but Key hangs on. That was perfect from Kessler there. He just managed to pick up 1 position from it and really measured drive so far through these drivers. And he's just 0.6 behind Hudson, who we know is a lot slower than so he's 0.2 behind McLeod, who we know is a lot slower than Kessler.
Just taking a little look.
The barrier is that. Oh my goodness, that was Hudson. I think he hit the wall.
Sorry, Sam. Just watching a replay on screen right now of Josh Thompson moving himself up and into 3rd place, getting past Alistair Hay. Yeah, do apologise for cutting you off there, but back to you again.
That's fine. Hudson just went into the gravel, into the wall pretty much in turn 1, and now he's side by side with Lindström and Godin all the way down into the hairpin. He's going to win this one. I think it's Godin on the inside. But no, Godin just... Oh, how are they not touching here? They're somehow not come together. It's still side by side. Godin on the outside. Lindström just about pulling ahead.
I mean, just look at how busy that track is, all in around that same area what we're focused on right now. So many cars there, just absolutely insane. Leaders really are pulling away. It's looking good for Summers and Newton. But this little battle around 10th is just epic at the moment. No room. This is what reverse grid racing is all about. Really tightens the pack down. Gives the leaders something to work for. Kessler was looking at Ty McLeod. That's for 8th place. These guys have sort of scampered away from that pack behind that were chasing each other.
Yeah, Nosterkamp's going to try to have a move on Usher, not quite. But yeah, there's just so many barrels down the field.
It's almost impossible to keep up with it. Mark seems to have some front wing damage from somewhere. I don't quite know where he's picked that up from, but it does make him quite a bit slower down the straight. I think Rene's going to get this move done fairly comfortably. Late on the brakes, Mark desperate to try and keep some sort of overlap. He might have just done it there. That's impressive. Really good on the brakes. And Rene just about holds on there through the outside. Just that curb is really, really bumpy, and you just have to hit it right. And with him being on the slightly wider line there, just upset the car more than he wanted to. They're going to go at it again, I'm sure, in just a few laps time or so. What was going on behind? There was something going on behind as well.
I think Kessler got past McLeod.
I think you're right. I think it was Kessler getting by.
Yeah, March got past Key, I know that. It's difficult to keep up with it all. Hudson's dropped down about 6 places in 2 laps, down to P14 after that little off. But yeah, there's a few gaps starting to form. It's not quite as chaotic as it was. Although Hudson's just trying to go side by side with that's Domitar there. Hudson just staying ahead, but Domitar desperately trying to make the move now. He's on the outside. Just got to line it up for the back straight, because that's what it's all about, carrying the momentum onto that long straight for the hairpin. Hudson keeping the...
just runs out a bit wide there, doesn't he? A bit deep in there, but actually got away with it.
Yeah, and that's Conor Ryan, I think, just going past the hairpin, so a couple of positions where he's going to be on the inside. We've seen you can overtake around the outside due to the banking. Ryan holding the inside. He's late on the brakes, and he should just about hold on to that one. That was a good opportunistic move from him.
Yeah, I assure you guys, the battle for whatever place is not always on the screen. But because it's just been so mental out there today, it hasn't had a moment to disappear. Who was that also? Is that Bruno? Some issue for Bruno? Just, yeah, I'm not quite sure. Oh, he must have some damage. You can just see he's got the front wing damage. But the car is so lively underneath him. This Renault is not that tricky, you know, to get the power down. So maybe a bit of suspension damage for Bruno as well.
Yeah, he made contact that just before the back straight. He was the one who made a bit of contact. So I wonder if that's cost him a bit of suspension damage.
Just take a second to check in with the leader. Quite comfortable out there at the moment. He's got a 6-second gap to Newton behind. So he had his issues, didn't he, Charlie Summers? So kind of a bit of karma really there. He took some crap in the last race, and now is getting a bit of reward for it as well. And yeah, finds himself 6 seconds in the lead. Not sure how he's going to fare with traffic. Where is he right now? I mean, look at that on the map right now. He's got absolute clear track for miles around him, so shouldn't have any issues for the rest of this race. Just needs to focus on what he's doing. Newton, he is currently, he's lapping about the same speed as Thompson. Thompson just a few seconds back. And of course, we're going to have this great fight that we had just towards the end of the last race as well, between Osterkamp and Thompson.
Oh, Usher and Hayes side by side. Usher going down the inside into turn 1. Hayes going to try to keep it around the outside. Not quite.
No.
Yeah, Usher lost a couple of... Hay lost a couple of positions. Osterkamp, I think, managed to get 2 positions down the back straight on that last lap. So he's up into P4 now. That was a good move from him. Hayes still on the back of Usher down the inside. That's going to be deep. Oh, no. Oh, big contact Oh, that's really disappointing between those two. Hayes in the wall.
I will look at that back. I'm just looking at this double overtake that you were talking about as well. You're right. He got fantastic drive, didn't he? Out of the onto the back straight, got one, and then onto the break-in past Dove as well. Great move. Right, where was this other incident? Let's look at this one as well, as Usher got involved in something with Hay. Like I say, late move. Oh, very late move, and just couldn't hold it. I don't think Mark saw him coming. Tried to close the door, but it was far too late. And yeah, even more damage. That's the other thing that can happen with these reverse grid races. Leaders can get absolutely destroyed. Those of you that saw a different series in the Renault, the BSR Formula Renault, well, we saw an awful lot of that in that series as well. Key now has Lindstrom, sorry, it's Usher, isn't it? And Key's just behind. So
yeah, I think Usher, has he got damage? He must have damage from that impact because it was quite
Big
heavy.
time.
Yeah, and he around here, I think Newton earlier on was losing about 3 seconds a lap due to damage. So he's going to really be struggling here as Usher. Just watch him down the straight, got so much more drag than the other cars because of damage. He's still defending. Lindstrom trying to go around the outside, but that's great from Usher. Just hangs on to it. Side by side just behind, but Key just stays in behind. It's going to be a long 5 minutes now for Usher to try to just hang on to as many places as possible.
yeah, I mean, the car seems to be coming off the corners pretty nice, so perhaps he didn't get as much right rear sort of suspension damage as you want. You can certainly see a little bit of a rear wing damage there. It's not going to affect the Renault too much. It's pretty thin. Doesn't give you all that amount of downforce, especially around this circuit. The main thing will be whether the suspension is intact, and it seems to be rotating off the corners quite nice. So Mark doesn't seem to be having to work the car too much there, so he should be able to hold on fairly comfortably. Well, I say comfortably, but he's going to have to hold on.
Newton's had a crash from P2. Newton's it's that same 90-degree corner just after the hairpin, and that's a big impact. Oh dear, that's really actually ruined his car, Newton. So I don't know if you can catch that on replay, but that's
Here we go.
yeah, just seemed to lose the back end, I think.
Oh yeah, exactly. You just got a little bit too far over into the tyre wall. Gets going again. It's caused him some issues. He got some suspension damage, I think he might have there. Josh had to avoid him as well, didn't he? Went off track. But yeah, hello everybody. Apex Racing TV here. Alex Simpson and Sam Fitzpatrick and Andrew Woodhouse, old school AOR drivers, will be in the comms booth from next week, which yeah, should be a lot of fun to get them back on this series.
Yeah, I think Dove's about to get past Newton now, so Dove's 0.3 behind Newton. I don't think he's going to fight too hard. These two came together earlier on, remember. Dove down the inside, that's a bit deep. Oh, he's spun it, no. Just about, oh, Newton's wide, and I guess it just goes straight through the middle of them. Dove gets past eventually, but that was absolutely brilliant from Kessler.
Just wanted to see if I could, for some reason I can't see that move back from, there we go. Let's get this move from Kessler. Watching him, focused on him, see how he does that. You can see he's got quite a bit of space to think about, isn't he? They're just sort of desperate to avoid hitting each other. It's like a parting of the sea. Just says thank you, and away he goes. Oh, Newton having more trouble out there as well, dropping further back. Quite clearly, that's what you get when you have some suspension damage too, chronic aero damage too with that. So Ty McLeod just goes through. Kessler, he is pulling away now from Zaradov. I dare say we've got some pronunciations wrong as well, so please just let us know. Of course, first week in there, could well be Dove. I don't know.
Usher still holding on against Lindstrom and Key. Every lap down into the hairpin, they seem to be side by side. Oh, that's round. No. Somehow Lindstrom hung on to that one. So nearly spun it going out of turn 1.
Modric passed Newton as well. Osterkamp putting in fastest lap of the race the last time by. So absolutely flying once again out there. 24.16, that's the fastest I think we've seen so far today. He is 2.14 seconds behind Thompson the last time by, and he caught 0.4 of a second. So at that rate, he could be on his tail. Maybe by the end of this race, it's going to be very close. One thing's for sure is Summers isn't going to have anything to worry about. He's 8 seconds clear now of Thompson. Absolutely flying out there, consistent 24, sort of mid 24s every lap. Phenomenal drive from him.
Yeah, incredible. He's just romped away. I think he's certainly probably been the fastest driver out there today. I think Summers, his first race, he got damage early on, and that really just ruined his race because he was down about a second on a lap for the entire race. But got a high position on the grid for this one, and yeah, just romped away with it. Going to be very comfortable. Osterkamp down to 1.6. He was 7/10 faster on that lap. So not quite sure how much more time is to go, but yeah, certainly catchable, I think. But he's got to nail every single corner from here on in.
Yeah, just looking at Thompson, no damage whatsoever on the Radicals car. Just needs to carry on doing what he's doing. Might hold on to this one. Just have a look at them on track as they start to close in on this battle. Osterkamp gets within the 1 second. For those of you new to Epix Racing TV, our overlay kicks in once they get within a second. That's the battle. And then if they stay within 1.5, it'll stay up on screen. But yeah, where is our leader compared to these guys as well? Let's see if we can add him into the mix. And we can't.
Oh wow, Osterkamp's really on him now, isn't he?
It's just like the last lap, he's just gone absolutely nuts. Just there. I'm fiddling around trying to bring him up on the mini-map, and all of a sudden he's all over him.
Oh, side by side now, he's got the run, Osterkamp. He's going to be, is he going to be ahead going into the hairpin? Side by side with Thompson. He's not going to let this one go easy, Thompson, as we said earlier on. Thompson deep on the brakes. Oh, he's gonna run him out of room. No, he's just giving him boom, and down the inside goes Osterkamp. No, spin. Oh, Osterkamp's gone. Should still hang on to P3.
He does, but that is going to be the end of that, I think.
Yeah, he got it done, didn't he? He just needed to. He was fully ahead, and now he's going to be under pressure from his teammate. I don't know if there's going to be
Charlie
some
Summers,
team
though. Here he comes, final lap of the race. What a, well, he's fully deserved of that weave down the straight, as his victory is by about 10 seconds in the end. Thompson, he's going to come across in second, holds on from Osterkamp. Kessler is going to come across in fourth. Then we have Godin. We've got Ty McLeod as well. And then, is that a missing front end for Morridge? I think it is.
Yep.
Finishes that in 7th place, so he did well there. That must have been a late incident that we didn't see. Sorry, Dove, sorry, let me know. In 8th.
Oh wow, okay. Dove spun ahead. Moritz straight into the side of Dove
Oh,
on the last lap, but they didn't lose any positions because of it.
Rob Plumley did finish, even though he got absolutely net-coded off to another planet earlier on in the race. But yeah. Wow. I have to say, quite enjoyed that one. That was fast. That was frantic. There was lots of great overtakes going on there and some great defending too. Struggled to keep up with that, I tell you. So, bring up the results. Hopefully, we will we'll have that. You see if I can work the points out as well. All the points on screen will be provisional as well, guys. Because I'm not 100% sure on who gets the bonuses and whatnot. Bring up on screen. So these all need to be just slightly amended, but should give you a rough idea when we look at post-race points there. But yeah, Sam, I think we have the correct results this time. So take us through that, please.
So Charlie Summers, 12 seconds clear in the end. What a dominant performance by him. Josh Thompson, really good from him to finish in P2. Benny Osterkamp, that great drive through the field in race 1 and really consolidated in race 2. Patrick Ketzler, certainly the winner of this round, winner in race 1 and 4th position in race 2. Jean-Francois got in good race, good day for him. P3, I think, in the first race and P5 in the second, so good for him. Ty McLeod, another good drive from him. He's been really good today. Lubor March in P7 from 19th on the grid as well, so really good from him. Followed by Sarah Dove, who had a couple of incidents up there. Scott Newton with that damage midway through the race really ruined his chances after running in P2 for the first part of the race. Mark Usher rounds out the top 10. Glenn Andre Key in 11th. Urka Lindstrom 12th. Connor Ryan in 13th. Bruno Dometer in 14th. David Butler in 15th. Luke Bartson in 16th. Stephen Herman in 17th. Alec Hudson and Jordan Pierce and Robert Plumley rounding out the top 20. Then behind them, Sam Blackwood in 21st, Daniel J. Morris 22nd, Adam State 23rd, Alexei Sorokin 24th, Alistair Hay, the pole sitter, in 25th, Christian Takacs in 26th, Tom Whitson's 27th, Jiri Mojak 28th, Enric Andre 29th, Marcel Miles in 30th, and Joseph Greengrows in 31st position.
Yeah, we're just hearing a bit of feedback of the drivers' voices through your microphone there, Sam. Crazy, because obviously mine are actually muted. Obviously, it was a suggestion. It was a suggestion in the stream. Mine are muted, but we can hear that through Sam's microphone. So that's what that is. Just so you guys know, I can assure you I have them all zipped. Right, let's just have a look. So, like, provisional points after the meeting tonight. Of course, there's a couple of bonuses that might go on, so you've got a rough idea of what has changed and what's gone on. So Osterkamp leads the way from Josh Thompson. Kessler in 3rd place, moves himself up some places. Usher in 4th. Charlie Summers with that win there. Jumps himself right up and into the top 5. And let's just see any major losers in this. Down 7. Who was that as well? That's Christian, but I don't think we saw him today. And yeah, Phil Reed, a few drivers. Don't know how Sorokin lost so many places. He had such a good beat. Kerry Nolden, he wasn't here, so yeah, dropped some places as well. Like I say, all provisional stand-ins at the moment, depending on sort of our protests and things like that as well. Right, we have got a few drivers that have popped their head in for an interview, Sam. So let's drag up some people. We'll start with Thompson. He had one of the better races and the evenings out there. The leaders aren't here. Of course, those of you that don't know, I think the Discord channel was shared forums, on the Epix Online Racing forums. So get yourself added in there and jump in for an interview. But yeah, let's drag Josh up. Mr. Thompson, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Hello, mate. Well, that looked like a bit of an adventure today. Lots going on.
Yeah, just still trying to find my feet. Like you said in the first race, I don't drive a car as much as I used to compared to like when I used to drive it a week in the Renault series and PSR. But nah, I'm just taking it week by week, really. Just being consistent can still obviously challenge for the title. Hopefully, that's the plan.
Well, I mean, the first race you had some damage, so you had to deal with that, of course. The front wing damage. Now, obviously, it's been a couple of instances since I've drove the car. Does it still have the same kind of impact to the straight line speed that it used to, or is it not quite as bad anymore?
It wasn't too bad. Like I noticed I had a little bit. I could tell like just like with inputs and stuff like that through the wheel, but it wasn't too bad. It was like probably like 2 or 3 attempts at the end of the straight, so not as dramatic as it used to be. But nah, I didn't realize. I knew I got some in race 1 as well. I definitely got something on the rear because obviously I got tagged in the hairpin a little bit, so I had a bit of rear damage.
Yeah, just trying to think. René, basically, you guys just had a couple of great battles. The first race was obviously you really defended really hard, and just that little run that you got. I don't know, did you just not expect him to get over the inside there? Because it's sounded like you to leave the door open, really.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough. Obviously, I know René's probably the main title challenger, so obviously me and him were quite. I think me and him are pretty much like within 2 or 3 points of a championship. So it's obviously I'm just gonna have to try my hardest against him. He's definitely got more raw pace over me. But no, I made a little mistake, ran a little bit wide, hit a bump, and just lost all the momentum off the corner. And by the time I tried to react to it, he'd already put his nose in. So obviously just thought I'd try and get the switch back, but I made a mess of the entry as well to that, so it all went wrong.
And then, of course, in the second race, back at it again, but hard defending. And, well, I know that curb is a bit tricky at times, but you managed to avoid him when he went. And I guess you kind of, that was a bit of a relief for you when you saw him go around there.
Yeah, I was like looking at the relative, I was just having to keep my head down, but I could see he was coming like 3 to 6 tenths a lap, no matter what I was trying. So then I nearly dropped it. So that was a bit of a scary moment, like for opposite lock. But no, I thank God I was on 1x to go, and we got a 0x on the entry of the hairpin, so I wasn't letting him go around the outside that easily because I knew it was just if it's going to be like on the last round, like 2 points, and I've let him go around the outside. It's going to like bite me back a little bit, but. Yeah, when he went, I had to slam on the brakes and looking up to avoid him because if I touched him, I'd been DQ'd.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
I know all about keeping it on the edge of trying to avoid DQ. So well done, mate. Yeah, second place, good meeting for you as well. Like I say, we'll have to wait and see. Here and there are some miscalculations in points and whatnot. So hopefully we can get that sorted for next week. But yeah, anyone want to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Yeah, I just want to give a shout out to Connor Ryan for doing a good job as well. First year in doing the Radical Development Program, so he's doing quite a good job. The organisers, you guys, especially for the last minute broadcasting now, which is quite good. Looks really good from what I've seen. And obviously everyone at Radicals.
Awesome stuff. Thanks, mate.
No worries, mate. See you later.
Who do you want, Sam?
Maybe get Scott Newton up here. Hi, Scott. Can you hear me?
Yeah, hey Sam, how you doing?
Good, thanks. Difficult day for you out there. We saw you pick up a couple of incidents, but certainly first one wasn't your fault whatsoever. Must have been really rough out there once you got that damage because you seem to be losing a couple of seconds a lap because of it.
Yeah, in the start of the race, I was up into P4 after the first lap. I knew that I had to get past Sarah and Alistair to have any chance at Charlie, but unfortunately he already had a 2.5 second gap, so I knew that first was pretty much off the table because of the fact that we were pretty much similar pace. So once I managed to get past both Sarah and Alistair, it was just trying to manage that gap and hold off Josh because I knew he was coming in pretty quick, and then probably with about 5 to go, just going over turn 7 and 8, those curbs on the outside are really bumpy, especially if you hit that gravel trap there, and yeah, just too much power and licked it into the wall, and both front and rear wing damage. So yeah, that's what cost me at least P2 in this sprint race today.
Yeah, we saw you have a really good battle with Josh Thompson in the first race. For it seemed for about 20 minutes. How was that? Because he's quite aggressive, isn't he?
Yeah, his ex-teammate now at Radicals. Yeah, definitely. I was actually surprised that I was actually at least on his pace within a tenth or so. Because normally he's further up the road. So I was having a pretty good feature race, but I saw that Josh had a bit of a slow pit stop because didn't know what the pit delta was, and going through, I saw that Josh was in clean air at least, so I knew that I would come out at least behind him. And I pitted 1 or 2 laps later, and I've managed to jump him. So that was at least good on my part. But coming up to the back of Sarah, we were just both on different parts of our races, and unfortunately, yeah, she just lost going into turn 1, and I tried to go underneath, but yeah, there's a little bit of contact there. So, but unfortunate. But yeah, just looking forward to next week. I think it's Silverstone, so home track for at least my main team. So I hope to do well there next week.
Yeah, it should be fun. Any shout outs you'd like to give?
Yeah, definitely. I'd just like to give a shout out to all the guys at AOR and all the competitors. Also to my teammate Eunice Vastermarki, who couldn't make it today. Also to the viewers tuning in as well, to the broadcast as well, and to Apex Racing TV as well.
Thanks, mate. We'll see you at Silverstone. Should be a good one.
Yep, no worries. All right, cheers for that.
Sarah, hello, are you there?
Hello,
Hello. First off, is it Dove? Is it Dove?
Dove.
Thank you. We've got that one cleared up. So a bit of an eventful race meeting for yourself today. You got caught up with Scott in the first one, and yeah, you were having a good race until then, I thought, and pit stop was imminent, but yeah, it all come undone there.
Yeah, it was going to be my in lap, and I was wanting to let Scott by, but he wasn't close enough, and so I went into turn 1 and then lost it somehow, and came back and hit him, and then as we were trying to get back going, we crashed into each other again.
Yeah, we did. I'm afraid we caught that as well. We did a little
Yeah.
replay as well.
And so I went and pitted and came out, and by the end of the race, I'd only lost a couple of positions to where it was, which was good. But this sprint race, I started all right, had some battles, and then lost a couple of positions, and then as I was trying to overtake Scott in the first corner again, I almost spun again, so that was a bit scary. And then I accidentally caused a massive crash with Ty and Lubomir.
Oh, we didn't see that one, so you're right. Should have kept quiet. Would have been fine.
Yeah, it was on the last lap.
Yeah, Sam did mention that one. What was it like in that second race? Because you were in that massive pack where there just looked like there was no room. Cars were going 3 wide, like all the time. It was just a bit hectic for about 3 or 4 laps then.
It was. There was loads of just people going everywhere. Which isn't a great idea because this track isn't very conducive to side-by-side racing. But it was interesting.
Well, I think come away with 2 reasonable. Well, certainly a reasonable result in the sprint race there. Something to build on for next week. You can definitely seem like you're mixing it up in the pack. So hopefully we can see you on the podium a couple of times this season.
I hope so. Maybe not the podium, but I like some top 10s, maybe top 5s in the sprint.
Stuff. Anyone you want to give a shout out to before we hand you off?
Can't really think of anyone apart from just AOR for setting the league up, and then you guys broadcasting.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you very much. That'll do.
Okay.
We'll take that, and I'm sure they will as well.
Thank you.
Thanks very much, and we'll catch you next week.
See ya.
Right, Sam, are you okay if we bring Connor and Joseph in? We'll sort of try and quick fire those guys, and we'll call it a night.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, looks like.
So sorry, Joseph. We'll start off with Connor first. Over to you, Sam. Sorry.
Yeah, so Connor, you were very much in the heart of that massive battle. That must have been a lot of fun to take part in.
Yeah, I was kind of on the back of that train at the end of the race. I couldn't really do too much though, as I was right on the limit of the incidents, so couldn't go for any risky moves. So I just kind of stayed back.
Yeah, were you having to kind of really modify your driving to make sure that you didn't pick up any off tracks, or was it just an off track here, off track there, not too close?
But yeah, I had an incident with someone. Bruno Domina went into me, so I got 4 instant points, and that's when I was on 10 out of 11. So yeah, I just had to be a bit more cautious, and especially on making moves on people, I just couldn't really. I don't know. Yeah, just got to edit the way I drive and edit. If I'm behind someone, I just got to be a bit more cautious with where I make a move and when.
Are you looking? Sorry,
no, go on. I was just gonna. You go, Sam.
are you looking forward to Silverstone next week? It should be good in these cars, like really quick flying circuit.
Yeah, it's a fun track to drive in these cars. Yeah, it shouldn't be too bad. I've only driven it once really though in these cars, so need a bit of testing before. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Any shout out?
Yeah, sorry. Go on. I was
Any
going to
shout
say the same.
Yeah, any shout out you'd like to give, Connor?
Shout out to Radicals Online. Yeah, helped me a lot this week, especially to drivers Josh Thompson, Alex Adler. Helped me a lot with sets, getting used to this track. I never driven it before in these cars, so yeah. Thanks to them.
Awesome, Connor. Thanks very much. We'll head over to Joseph. Joseph, I get a feeling this probably wasn't how you wanted your race to go today.
No, obviously a double DNF isn't really ideal. I wasn't very confident coming into this round. Been struggling all week, to be honest, with sets, etc. Tried a few different setups. The track just doesn't seem to suit my driving style. Last week, pretty average race, 1 DNF and a P22. It's just about sort of pushing on and making gains, pushing as much as I can, really.
So, put this race aside then. Looking forward to Silverstone, completely contrasting circuit. I mean, you couldn't have two different circuits. One super tight, really narrow that you can't get any kind of run, and Silverstone's going to be super fast and super flowing.
Yeah, Silverstone's definitely up there with some of my favourite tracks. Obviously, coming over from F1 just a couple of months ago. Obviously, it's the old layout though, so it's definitely going to need some adjusting. But I've driven it a few times, so I mean, it shouldn't be too bad. But definitely feel more comfortable around there than I do around this circuit.
Yeah, interesting. You say obviously you come from like the F1 and things like that. So, which leagues do you run over there in that series?
When I'm in F1, like the Codemasters games, I sort of ran over there. I ran a league on there back in the day. Did a bit of AOR, but just sort of need a new challenge.
PC side, or was it like console?
Console, and then got a PC last year, and then iRacing was the way forward.
Yeah, exactly the way I went, exactly the same. So started off on the in AOR leagues, and on the PlayStation, then moved over to the PC and did a little bit of F1 and that. So yeah, very similar path. I think it's kind of the way a lot of people sort of are doing it now. I was talking to Dan, and he was saying that the PC side's really taken off over there. So yeah, good to see you over here and racing a bit of iRacing.
There's a lot of guys in here that sort of come over, and will be interesting to see how ever.
Yeah, awesome. Well, more the merrier, I say. So, before we let you go, do you want to give a quick shout out? And
my team, VRT, Cheers to the boys, well done, Ty, our sponsor Next Gen, and Harrison Finch for helping me out. So, good job by all the VRT boys today.
Awesome stuff. Right. Well, thanks very much, mate. I wish you all the best next week. Hopefully, we'll have a repeat performance and you'll get 2 finishes rather than double DNF.
Thank you very much. See you next week.
Cheers, mate. Right, Sam. Well, let's wrap the show up. I mean, I have to say, I thought, apart from we had a few little issues that we need to sort out. So, yeah, work in development, but good first. Work in progress on that. But yeah, a couple of little overlay things, a couple of just starting to understand the series a little bit more, learning the drivers, what teams are all in. But I have to say, for a first week, I'm looking forward to see how this progresses. This is going to be a lot of fun covering this series.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of really quick top drivers that you can't really pick out anyone who was certainly faster than anyone else. You got Summers, Thompson, Osterkamp, Kessler, plenty of others, all really quick guys, very similar pace, who are going to be fighting for this championship. And then the midfield we saw today, it's just some epic battles, and the quality of the midfield is just so good, so evenly matched, and those battles, we couldn't really keep up with them at some points. But yeah, that should really keep us interested for the entire season.
Yeah, awesome. Will you be back next week? Obviously, now done the first week, you're more than welcome to head back in. Or I know Adam and Andrew should be back.
I'll certainly do whatever I can. I think now's a really good fun broadcasting that. So yeah, if I can.
Well, thanks very much, everybody, for tuning in. Alex Simpson, Sam Fitzpatrick here for what was the second round of the Apex Online Formula Renault 2.0 Championship. And yeah, well, we'll see you in a week's time for Silverstone.